Alright, so we just made a video from the Florida side of things. I told you guys I'd also make one from the Rangers side of things as their season officially comes to an end. Honestly, I think this season was a success for this team, especially after what happened last year in the playoffs. I know there's been a lot of talk in the past few days about their big guns not exactly performing. Kreider and Zibanejad both 2 points in the entire series. Panarin with 4, which, yes, on the surface in a 6-game series isn't the end of the world, but you can see why people were left wanting more from those guys. A little more production across the lineup, but especially from those three, really would have swung the tide in this series, especially with how great Shesterkin was playing. But on the whole, with all the incredible moments we saw in this run, and still, they're only 2 wins away from the Cup final. I know it hurts right now, Rangers fans, it's still fresh, it's normal, but I really think that in the end, this is a season to look back on with a smile. I do gotta say this though, I'm not even a Rangers fan and I feel gutted for Shesterkin. The guy gave it 110%, he gave everything he had. He's the reason the Rangers even got to play a 6th game here, so I definitely feel for him, and hey, after earlier this season with all the what's wrong with Shesterkin stuff, I tip my cap to him with how he locked in after that, especially going into the playoffs. This is the New York Rangers we're talking about here though, one of the biggest franchises in hockey. They released a letter when they wanted to go into a rebuild. This team's definitely in a cup window, especially with Shesterkin and the emergence of Lafreniere now. I wonder if they're going to do a bit of shopping this offseason. It's going to be really interesting. Also, I think Laviolette did a great job in his first year as coach of the team. I truly believe he helped unlock Alexis Lafreniere this year. I think it's a mix of him just hitting a new phase in his development and having more experience in the league, and his coach being Laviolette instead of Gallant. After his incredible playoff run, it's going to be pretty cool to see him be one of the main faces of the Rangers going forward, which is what pretty much everyone thought he was going to be when he was drafted in the first place. That's what's such a shame though. Last year, the team needed more from Zibanejad and Panarin especially. That was a big part of what sunk them in that Devils series. And this year again, it's not just them, but that's what they're paid to do. They stand out when they play like this in pivotal games. And look, with Zibanejad, we know he was snake bit. Yes, he had those 2 assists last game, but it's been pretty ugly since pretty much game 1 of the Carolina series. And that's the tricky part with both of them, because you look on the surface, oh, Zibanejad's second on the team in points. He's a point per game player in the playoffs, Panarin right behind him. So technically, they are producing, but Panarin, for example, prior to him scoring this one, he hadn't scored a goal in his last 8 games, and I thought he was pretty disappointing in this series. So yes, technically they both got their cookies, but they didn't step up when it mattered most, when the team needed them the most. That's the part that puzzles me about this team, because I definitely think they're a cup contender who's in their window right now. Yes, they could use another move or two, but I feel like they've got all the right ingredients, except they're going to keep getting rinsed by teams like Florida if guys like Zibanejad and Panarin, Kreider play like that when it matters most. I doubt this team's going to make moves to their core though. I could be wrong, but I think they're going to go the route of addition instead. They've got the cachet as an original 6 franchise in New York City, plus they're good and they've got salary cap space. You look at their list of RFAs and UFAs, they've got a big Shesterkin contract coming up here soon, but other than that, they can definitely make some things happen in free agency here to try to give themselves some extra depth to safeguard themselves from another underwhelming performance from some of their stars. Who knows how well that's going to work, but that's what I think they're going to try to do. Now it's over to you. What do you think about the Rangers offseason? What do you think should happen versus what you think will happen? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.